Hello everyone, thanks for joining this information session around SAP and GDPR. My name is Kim.do.tri. I am a platform and innovation specialist based in Barcelona. GDPR is an important subject. It touches most of the company, European or non-European, which manipulate European customer data. And today we want to deliver a simple message: how SAP can help you. Well, the mission of SAP is to help you being GDPR compliant before the deadline, which is May 2018. How? We have a solution which is pre-integrated with SAP ERP. And the value proposition is to greatly accelerate the deployment of this solution to help you being GDPR compliant. This solution helps you to handle the end-to-end data lifecycle of personal data. So this is the agenda. First, I will talk around what is GDPR, then the impact for companies, and finally, how SAP can help you. But just before going into what is GDPR, let's talk around two stories on why personal data is important. The first story is around Yahoo. Yahoo is an important website and has those emails. I have a personal account within Yahoo, and they had two attacks from hackers. The first attack, they managed to get the information on 500 million accounts. The second attack, they got 1 billion information of personal data. And because of that, Verizon was in the process of purchasing Yahoo, and they did purchase Yahoo in February 2017, but they managed to decrease the cost by $350 million. And the initial price was $3.9 billion approximately. So this shows how important it is to protect the personal data within your systems. The second story is about Ashley Madison. It's a bit a lighter story. So Ashley Madison is a website to meet new people and in a personal way, and they have records, and they got a data breach, and the hackers managed to get 38 million accounts. From those accounts, they managed to blackmail the different users in the sense that if they did not pay some kind of money, then they would show the information to the entire world. This had bad consequences in the sense that 2 people committed suicide because of this affair. And as of today, there's people who are suing Ashley Madison, and they're claiming $500 million for this kind of attack. So this shows how important personal data is. So what is GDPR? GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation, and the objective is to give back to citizens the control over their personal data. We have heard many stories with Facebook or Google where people wanted to be forgotten by those websites, and they could not be forgotten, so they had to sue Google or Facebook in order to erase their personal data from those websites. GDPR is here for that, to protect the citizen by allowing active consent. So if you want to get data from your end customers, then they need to know about it actively. Then there's a right to be forgotten. So if your end customer does not want to be in your database, then you in simple clicks, you should erase this data. And the final point is the portability. So if they are a customer of you and you're a telco company and they want to move to another telco company, with a simple demand, you have to send the information directly. The deadline to be compliant is the 25th of May 2018, which is less than a year. But again, we are here, SAP, to help you being compliant before this date. Who is impacted by GDPR? Well, all companies, European or not, that manipulate personal data to protect their customers. What does it mean? It means that if you are a US company and you have European customers, then you need to be GDPR compliant. If you do B2C or B2B and you have customers in your database, you have to be GDPR compliant. And what do we mean by personal data? Well, it's a data which can relate to a physical person that can help to identify this right person. There's a direct manner, so for example, the first name or last name or the email with the name. Indirect manner, so with a digital footprint on account ID, if the hacker can access to who the person is and its personal data, or it can be mixed data. So if we say, for example, the son of the doctor living in 18 Somerset Road, then if we know who the person can be, this is personal data. So in the end, B2B company, B2C company, most of the companies needs to be GDPR compliant. Let's see that through a concrete example. So maybe you are a company, you deal with a partner, and this partner ordered 100 goods. So in this partner, you have a contact which has a name and an address. Then you may have a contract with this partner and this person, and you have a unique identifier. The order takes place and you have the name again of the client. Then there's a shipping with a shipping address, an invoice, and then there's a payment with banking details. Within this process, all the steps of this process have personal data. What are the risks? Well, you may know of this. 4% of your annual global revenue or 20 million euros, which one is bigger? So for example, if you are a 100 million euro turnover company on a worldwide scope, you may be fined if it's 4%, 4 million euros or 20 million euros. And more than the money concern, they have the ability to block all the flows of data, meaning that somehow you cannot do business as usual. So again, the message is not to scare you. You can be compliant even though there's less than a year. So in this slide, we have put all the kind of information which you should take into consideration when you think of GDPR. But SAP can help you in 3 of those areas. First is the governance, then the right to be forgotten, and then the data portability. Let's go more into the details. So SAP value proposition is this one, the end-to-end personal data lifecycle management. When you have personal data, well, you have to keep your data somehow and then delete it, we handle it. Let's see through the lifecycle in the context of GDPR. So first, there's a data privacy impact assessment where you need to have a global picture of your IT systems to do some things. Then there's the active data, then archiving, and then deleting. So data privacy impact assessment is a tool to understand your global IT systems and see where there are personal data. This is for 2 things. First is to reduce the number of areas where you may have personal data. So you may have a database and a file, and then maybe another database. If you can reduce it to a single database, this would be best. Second point, from that, you need to be able to delete information which is not relevant. So for example, you handle personal data with, for example, religion, some personal things that they like. If this data is not relevant for you, you need to delete this data from your systems. And what happens, what our customer says is that generally when they started to have their company, they may have a system with personal data, and this business flow where it hits this personal data, and then the system gets more complex but is not documented anymore. SAP can help you in assessing the different business flow and where it hits the personal data. Then there's the active data. So if you have your customers, they are active data. You want to be able to protect them around the fraud, for example, or if they want to be forgotten or they want the portability, thanks to SAP solution, we can manipulate the active data. Once the active data does not make sense, you need to archive the data if in a database, in a protected database where only a few number of people can access this database, and you need to archive this data for 5, 7, 10 years, it depends. And again, SAP can help you in dealing with the data lifecycle. And at the end of the 5, 7, or 10 years, then the deletion. So let's go again through the example that I have presented just before. So again, your company, your partner, you have a contact within your partner. Her name may be Ashley. So you deal with Ashley every day. Then Ashley changes company and you don't deal with Ashley anymore. Well, you need to delete the data of Ashley. And SAP can do that through what our solution called Information Lifecycle Management. So if you look at the diagram, there's a green side where again you have Ashley data with the contract creation, delivery, and payment. So in this area you have the active data. Then Ashley moves away, so you need to enter a blocking phase so that only, for example, people or for auditors who are coming who wants to know about what Ashley did, then they have access to this data. And after 10 years, then there's a deletion. SAP Information Lifecycle Management allows you to do that natively and is again well integrated with SAP ERP. With ILM, you have this kind of dashboards where you have information around active data and then data which is in the blocking phase and then data which is blocked. And you can see that the GUI is quite user-friendly and is pre-integrated with your ERP. If you want more information around information lifecycle management, there's a video on YouTube. Here is the link. But if you write SAP NetWeaver Information Lifecycle Management Compliant Archiving, you will be able to see this video. It's only 3 minutes and explain well how information lifecycle work. So really, why SAP in the context of GDPR? First, SAP solutions are natively integrated with SAP ERP, meaning that tomorrow you need to implement to be solutions to be GDPR compliant. We can do it natively to get the data from the ERP. It simplifies the configuration and administration, and the implementation, of course, the time is drastically reduced. SAP ILM, or Information Lifecycle Management, allows to connect to non-SAP environments. So you can not only manage the personal data from the ERP, but if you have some instance before the ERP or after the ERP, we can connect to those systems as well. And finally, SAP ILM is the only tool in the market that handles personal data lifecycle. So what's your next step? Well, if you are thinking around GDPR, if you are looking for solutions, areas, or want to discuss if you are good around GDPR, please reach us. You have your local contact, or you can reach me directly at Kim.do.tri @sap.com. Depending on the country, you may have a one-day workshop provided so that you can know more around GDPR and talk to experts to understand better your use case and see the kind of solutions that SAP has in order to help you being GDPR compliant. I hope you found this presentation useful, so thank you. Again, you have my contact. My email is again Kim.do.tri @sap.com. Feel free to reach me or reach your local contact. Thank you. Bye-bye.